Okay, so now let's get down to the study findings themselves. So for a study paper, like this data science one or the older adults one, the study findings are going to be the bulk of the paper because it's a study. So after you set up your methods and your limitations, just get right down into the study findings. I mean, there's not much I can say about this beyond just describe your study findings. So, use numbers, use representative quotes for a qualitative study. These are kind of qualitative studies. Break it up into subsections that make sense, and have tables and figures when necessary. But just, this should take up most of the paper because it's a study paper, right? Older adults one, so how many pages does this take up? The older adults one, the study findings took up, can't even see, it's so small. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5 pages or so. And this one, the style sheet's a little different. It took up probably, probably 5, 6 pages or so. Yeah, I mean, this should be fairly substantive. Not much more to say on this beyond just break it up into sections. When you have participants, say in interviews, just kind of list them P1, P2, have representative quotes as well. And, the thing about a study findings section or results section is that you want to try to adopt kind of a more dispassionate or objective tone. You don't want to editorialize or speculate too much in your findings. You don't want it to sound like you're speculating, because that you can do that in the discussion, the conclusion. So in a systems paper, the study is going to be, say, a user study. So you're going to need a setup for it, right? You're going to need kind of a method section to set up. And again, for user studies, I often have study limitations right here. I'm really big on having limitations, if you haven't noticed. And it's because reviewers are going to find limitations anyway, so it's much better if you just disarm them by just putting it right here. So if you notice this user study section, it's like there's a methods, and then there's study design limitations right at the end of the methods, just like in a study paper, right? Just like in a study paper, how the study papers have methods and the study design limitations right afterwards here. So and then just findings from the study, right? I mean, each kind of user study or evaluation are going to be different. They're not going to be as long usually because most of your paper is a system. So usually these are a page and a half, 2 pages or so. Let's see, the DSJS one has an exploratory study. So this was much more of an open-ended exploratory study. This one also was an exploratory study. I kind of named it. If you notice how if you're doing more exploratory studies, you should name it exploratory study. Here, just to set expectations again, so that people don't think it's as rigorous of a study. Oh, where is it? I'm losing my place. I call this an exploratory first use study. Exploratory first use study, which basically means we got in the hands of some users and got some qualitative feedback. It's not meant to be a rigorous comparative study of any sort. The Mallard one, we actually did a case study. So a case study meant we actually the authors ourselves actually use this tool ourselves to run a case study on stuff instead of doing it with real users. It's not as powerful as a user study, but it illustrates the point of the diversity of stuff you can do. We made, I think, 9 examples. One of them was shown earlier, another screenshot. So there's a case study right here. And that's basically it for the study write-up. So again, the biggest thing about the study write-up is that you want to, if it sounds a little boring, it's fine. You want to have a kind of more dispassionate, objective tone in how you're reporting the study findings. Okay, that's it for the study. So again, for a systems paper, it's the study of the system, and then for a study paper, it's the study you ran, right?